Hey, everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, November 22nd, 2020. Adam has Chelsea kidnapped and held against her will, so Victor has Adam kidnapped and held against his will. That's a nice little circle of family craziness right there, isn't it? It's a nice little cycle of dysfunctional behavior, isn't it? Happy Thanksgiving. Wow. I can honestly say I did not see that coming. Adam forcibly institutionalized. Wow. I said last week that maybe Adam needed some impatient help, but I also said that he would look good in white. White, not beige. I was picturing straight jacket white, maybe something with a nice shiny brass buckle. I don't know. But not this. Not this. All right. So, reality check. Does Adam Wilson Newman need some serious mental help? Yes! He planted a bomb in a downtown office tower. That's known as an act of terrorism these days, whether he meant it that way or not. And you're gonna have to pardon me if I'm a little sensitive on the idea of things exploding and being on fire in a tower. I mean, this storyline could not even have happened 15 years ago. If this had played out 15 years ago, the fans would have had Adam's head on a stake. Why did they do this anyway? Why did they have to go with the bomb? Why did they have to even add that? And okay, fine. If they had to do a bomb, and if Adam had to plant a bomb, if Adam was only targeting Victor and Victor alone, which is what Adam is now saying, then he could have planted his bomb at the ranch, where only Newmans would have been. But instead he planted it at Newman Tower. At Newman Tower, he could have taken out any number of innocent bystanders in the tower or on the street below. This makes me uncomfortable, this idea. This is totally psychotic behavior, and that's not even to mention the fact that he had Chelsea drugged and kidnapped, or kidnapped and drugged. Adam does need professional help. If this were reality and you knew Adam, he needs professional help. He does need to face his emotional problems, not to run away from them or to flip-flop between the women in his life to try to hide from his problems. But all of that being said, soap opera characters make big, dramatic, criminal moves like this all the time. What I'd like to know is, how did Victor get a judge to go along with this? Adam hasn't even been charged with any crimes. I mean, the audience knows that Adam was one click away from igniting a bomb, but the police haven't proven that. There's no evidence of that. The audience knows also that Adam kidnapped and drugged Chelsea, but she's not pressing any charges and she's not helping that investigation. So how do you have someone forcibly committed to a mental institution just for suspected criminal behavior? That's not right. That can't happen. You can't just go rounding up people and sticking them in mental institutions just because their dad says so. It's messed up. It is quite a quandary. I mean, yesterday, Adam was the target of an assassination, and today he's a menace to society. So which is it? Is he a victim? Is he a villain? Is he both? I don't know. Maybe this is how the character of Adam is meant to be written, because it reminds me a little bit of the Michael Mooney days, because Adam is clearly screwed up. He has clearly screwed up, and yet I do feel a lot of empathy for him. This week especially has made me really feel for him. I have always been fundamentally rooting for him. I want him to win. I want him to get help. I didn't want him to get help this way, though. I wanted him to want the help for himself. And the idea that he was probably handcuffed and forcibly hauled away against his will is gut-wrenching to me. Did they drug him to get him there? I'm wondering that. I honestly was surprised when he woke up in the bed and he wasn't chained to the bed. There was just something about it that was so brutal. And I felt terrified for him. I felt as terrified for him as I did for Chelsea when she was locked in the room a couple of weeks ago. But Adam, all of a sudden waking up, opening his eyes and looking very disoriented, like he had been drugged, and he was moaning and he was not really sure where he was. And then the moment where he realizes that he's in this room, he walks to the door and the door is locked. He's not going anywhere. And he's just desperately banging on the locked door. I would rip my heart out. I mean, I wanted to bust down the door and help him out of there. Or at least slip a meal under it. Another question. How did Victor get Sharon to go along with this plan? Adam made a great point to Sharon that when Sharon was at her lowest point after burning down the ranch, did he have her drugged and dragged away and committed to a mental institution? No. He helped her. He hid her in that dusty old mansion where he and Chelsea were living at the time. Remember that? Sharon should have been the last person to go along with this. Yet Sharon signed the petition to the court as his therapist, recommending that this was the right course of action. How? It is just so extreme for a situation where there's no evidence. They've hauled him away like a criminal, like a mentally insane criminal, which maybe he is, I don't know, but there's no evidence. I believe that Sharon believes that this is what's best for Adam. I think Sharon, in her heart, believes this is good for Adam, but she should know that someone like Adam is not going to respond well to force and ultimatums. This is getting more dangerous is what it is, because they've got, what, 72 hours max to make their evaluation. I don't know what the laws are in Wisconsin, but at max you can only do this for a couple of days. So they got a couple of days to make this evaluation on Adam, and no matter what, he has got to be worse when he gets out. This just made the situation worse. You thought Adam was alienated and a loose cannon before? He's gonna be worse now. Unless he has some big breakthrough, but I'm not counting on it. I think he's going to be furious. He's gonna be wanting revenge more than ever. Maybe they should have just let him go. Maybe he should have just left town. He was talking about leaving town with Chelsea, and you know what? Maybe that would be good for him. I mean, it's not good to run away from your problems, but it's not bad to run away from the source of an ongoing problem, which is his family. Like, maybe getting away from Genoa City would have been good for Adam. Maybe cutting ties with his toxic family would have been good for Adam, because the family is what evokes the toxic behavior in him. Sometimes you gotta cut them out. Happy Thanksgiving. Sometimes your family's so bad you gotta disconnect. Happy Thanksgiving. This is dysfunctional family week, isn't it? Oh. And that's the thing, is it is the family. I'm not saying it's necessarily like the family's fault. I mean, maybe it is, but it's not even necessarily the family's. I'm not saying necessarily that it's the family's fault, but it is the family that evokes this response in Adam. Because Adam admitted to Chelsea this week that the whole changing his name back to Adam Wilson thing was something he did intentionally just to toy with the family. He said that he was only doing it to toy with them. And I think that that is a perfect example of Adam choosing to play along in the family games when he would have just been better served to disconnect from them. See, my diagnosis of Adam is not so much that he has a mental illness. I don't think he necessarily has a genetic mental illness or something. To me, it seems behavioral. And I'm not a psychologist, but I watch a lot of soaps, so I am. I think that makes me qualified. But I like, to me, it seems like it's a pattern of behavior. Like Adam is stuck in an unhealthy pattern with his family and his relationships. And it's a pattern that he just doesn't know how to break free of. He just doesn't have the tools to get away from it. So maybe starting a new life somewhere else would have actually been a great move for him and his mental health. But then we would lose the character, so no move, no growth. It's just gonna be more war. Chelsea is going to hit the roof when she finds out about this. Now that Sharon's cancer is gone, Chelsea can feel free to rip into Sharon about this as much as she would like. And it's definitely going to be no more tea and crumpets between Victor and Chelsea at the Chancellor Mansion. Actually, it's going to be no more tea and crumpets for Chelsea at the Chancellor Mansion at all, because Chelsea moved out. Chloe threw down an ultimatum that if Chelsea goes back to Adam, then their friendship is over. Which on the surface, and saying it like that, it's a super crappy thing to do to somebody, to say, either you do what I want or I'm not going to be your friend anymore. But then at the same time, I think that just like Adam has a right to disconnect from his family, Chloe has a right to disconnect from Chelsea. Happy Thanksgiving. I do understand that the topic of Adam is always going to be an impasse for Chelsea and Chloe, and any friendship or any relationship, business or friendship, that they're going to have. And so be it, wherever they both decide to leave it. See, when Chelsea is mad at Adam, Chloe wants to be friends with her, but when Chelsea is in love with Adam, then they're not friends anymore. And that's kind of how it's always been. In a way, it is a little fair weather of a friend to be on Chloe's part, but at the same time, I also do understand it, because if Chelsea were my girlfriend, I would definitely tell her not to go back to her kidnapper too. Like, I would definitely have been saying all of the things that Chloe was saying. Especially when I got my own life going on and I got my own life to protect. I get where Chloe is coming from. But I also do get where Chelsea is coming from, because Adam is a part of Chelsea's life. Whether Chloe likes it or not, it's not as simple as Chloe doesn't like Chelsea's boyfriend. Chelsea has a kid with Adam. Chelsea has a family to protect. And as screwed up as Adam is, Hope's decision to keep Adam away from Victor didn't exactly work out either. So the argument that Chelsea should just keep Connor away from Adam is not necessarily a solution either. So Chelsea is choosing to try to keep her family together. That's what Chelsea is choosing. It is about Adam, yes, but it's the larger point that Chelsea is choosing to keep her family together, and she's just gonna hope that it all works out in the end. Victoria is no fun. None. She is zero fun. Well, unless your idea of fun is, I don't know, doing your taxes? I don't know. Victoria plays the Ponte Vecchio card on Phyllis this week, telling her that she needs to run every little decision that she makes by the holding company, or else Victoria and Ponte Vecchio are just going to terminate Phyllis's management contract. Why, again, is Victoria making it her mission to make Phyllis's life miserable? That's a serious question. I don't remember why this is so important to Victoria. I understand why it's important to Phyllis. It's her whole life. It's everything she's worked for. It's her day-to-day. But to Victoria, it's just a hotel. Phyllis, tried to smuggle away a few of Newman Enterprises' business clients to stay there? It's not even a direct competition thing. Why is that worth waging this war over? Why is it worth any energy on Victoria's part? I understand way more Victoria's mission to make Adam's life a living hell. Victoria and Nick found out this week that Adam had the schematics for Newman Tower and that Adam was planning to do something on her turf. So Victoria marches over to Adam's penthouse with her little contract that she wants him to sign to renounce any future claims on the Newman dime. And Adam tears the contract in half and throws it back in her face and sends her right out the door, which sends Victoria to Victor, proudly claiming that this torn contract, this was proof that Adam was all talk and no action about his renunciation of the Newman family and its name. It was all talk all along. And, not for nothing, she was right. Let it be said. She was right. Straight from Adam's mouth, Victoria was right. Adam admitted to Chelsea that it was all a game. He never had any intention of disconnecting. But Victor didn't appreciate Victoria's idea of proof. He didn't appreciate this little move on Victoria's part. Victor sees anything and everything that Adam is doing right now as a cry for help. That this is Adam's way of crying out for help and getting attention, even if it is negative attention. And yeah, I mean, I think Victor's right, to be honest with you. I think that's exactly what Adam is doing. I think that Adam does need help. And the thing about Adam is that he only seems to want certain help from certain people at certain times. He only wants the help the way he wants it and on his terms. Sometimes it's Chelsea, and then he only wants Chelsea's help unless he changes his mind, and then it's Sharon, and he only wants Sharon's help. Who Adam is dating is so much less interesting to me than what his process is and his connection is with his family. Like, I don't care who Adam's dating. I care what his relationship is with his family. And instead of a therapy storyline, honestly, I would have rather have seen Victor be the one to break through with Adam. That father-son dynamic is the one that's really dynamic and really enduring. Adam can pick a different girlfriend for any day of the week, but Victor's always going to be his father. That's where the repair needs to happen. Like, why did the answer to what's going on with Adam and how do we help Adam, why did the answer have to be force Adam into a mental institution? Why couldn't the answer have been just Victor spending more time with Adam? Victor needs to spend less time talking about Adam and more time talking to Adam. I mean, for crying out loud, start bringing him a Happy Meal and an apple for lunch every day. Adam opens up the door to anyone else who knocks on it. So why not Victor? Why not open the door to Pops a little more often? Let those two connect. Maybe Victor can use any of the wisdom that he's acquired throughout his long life to teach Adam a better way. If Victor knows the way, then why can't Victor be the one to teach Adam the way? I didn't need an institution to do that. I didn't need a dramatic dragging him away and putting him in a straitjacket. I'm full of ideas, because the other thing that I was thinking would be really, really interesting, like if we're working toward Adam having a breakthrough, I'll tell you what would really blow my mind. And it would absolutely blow my mind. Bigger than any explosion at Newman Tower. Bigger than any sweeps week. What would really blow my mind, and what will be fun and a growth moment for both characters, is if Victoria were the one to make a breakthrough with Adam. I mean, the writers could create some kind of circumstance. It could even be a little bit fun, where Victoria and Adam are arguing at the bar the way they always are. Maybe they keep arguing and keep drinking, and then maybe one night they just get super drunk, have a human moment of understanding one another, realizing that maybe they have a little more in common than they realized, and I don't know, maybe start to like each other, and then maybe kind of become friends? Like, wouldn't that really rock your world if Victoria and Adam just kind of became friends? At least for a few weeks. It would be good drama just to watch everyone's reaction to Victoria and Adam having become best friends, like hanging out, eating Chinese food, watching movies, playing with their kids together. maybe they could learn something from each other. And they could both show some character growth in the process. Instead, they're just both stuck. They're just both stuck. I mean, I know we need the drama. Yeah, I like the drama. But what if Adam and Victoria became really good friends? A couple of months down the road, then something could happen that could tear their friendship apart. And then they could go back to war again. And this time it would be so much more heartbreaking because they were once close. How about that? That would be a real shocker. That would be less predictable than the never-ending Newman war story. Phyllis's gold lame suit is the reason that I can't be normal. The gold lame suit that Phyllis was wearing this week is the reason why I just can't fit into real life. I mean, how can I spend all of this time in a fabulous fictional world where a woman can just wear a gold lame suit to work on a Tuesday like she's freaking Elvis Presley, and then I'm expected to not wear a fur poncho to the grocery store? I don't think so. I cannot reconcile these two things. Gold lame suit, grocery store. I don't even know why I'm calling it lame, because I don't think it was lame. It looked like gold crushed sequins or something. I don't know. It looked completely uncomfortable. It was amazing. She looked so stiff and so miserable in it, and it was amazing. I still love Phyllis. I still love Phyllis and Nick. Nick and Phyllis are my couple. They're my couple. I like the chemistry between them, but I also just in general appreciate the stage of life that their relationship is in. It's not a young love. It's not an Abby and Chance, let's get married and have a baby love. These two have been around the block before. In fact, they've been around the block with each other even. So I was really glad to see that they worked through the rough patch that they were having, because for the last 2 weeks, Nick has seemed suddenly very annoyed with everything that Phyllis is doing. And it just felt very out of the blue. It felt out of the blue in the same way as Summer suddenly becoming paranoid about Kyle's relationship with Lola. I think emotions just turn on a dime these days. But if I were Nick, I would be miffed that Phyllis didn't tell me about Faith immediately. Although I don't know that I would have let it erupt into a relationship-crushing argument where everything was thrown into question. I mean, Phyllis didn't really do anything wrong. She just didn't do the right thing in his time. She just didn't do it in time. I think Phyllis had all of the intention of telling Nick. She told Faith that she intended to tell Nick. She just didn't do it fast enough. And plus, Faith is the one who screwed up here. Faith was the one who, I guess, was out drinking again. And this is a major red flag. This is a major sore spot for the entire Newman family after everything that happened with Cassie, and Faith knows that. I think Faith knows that she's screwing up. I think Faith feels ashamed about it all, but she's also trapped in this space between peer pressure and knowing what the right thing to do is. It's a tough spot. I don't know how you deal with a teen. I don't know how you parent a teen. I don't have one. Nick did a really phenomenal job of just talking to her, I have to say. He accidentally overheard Faith and Phyllis talking about it in the park, and yeah, it caused the fight between Nick and Phyllis, but it also prompted the conversation between Nick and Faith, and Nick said all the right things. I was so impressed by how he expressed himself, because he was really honest about the fact that he was upset and he was heartbroken, but he still came off as supportive and loving of his daughter, and that is a hard balance to keep. That I know. Keeping the balance between your own anger, but also still needing to reserve that role of love and support as a parent. The question is, what's Faith gonna do with it? What's Faith gonna do? At this point, at this stage, she's too old to ground. Right? She's too old to just lock her up in her room. At a certain point, you kind of just have to wait. You kind of just have to trust that you've done a good job parenting up until that point, and that your kid knows what the right decision is. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Jordan is a very powerful influence over Faith, though. And Jordan likes to party. Chance is shot. Who fired the gun? That was last week's poll question. I found it very interesting that Jordan or Faith, the Jordan-Faith connection, being the one who actually fired the gun, came in at a strong third place. 24% said it was either Jordan or Faith, that the connection was going to end up there. I mean, it's surprising, and I think it's really a possibility. I think that's a very strong possibility. It's also worth noting here that Faith, Jordan, they're minors. I mean, again, I am not a legal expert, but I have watched soaps for my entire life, so I think that qualifies me. And I'm wondering if, we're going to rig this in a certain way that Faith, Jordan, they're minors, so there could be some kind of lesser punishment for them. I think it's a road that is still open. It could still be the possibility. The first place vote, though, for who fired the gun went to, actually it was tied between people thinking that it was a Las Vegas connection, like an Adam Chance Las Vegas connection, or just someone else entirely. Actually, now that I think about it, I think when I voted last Sunday, I voted for the Vegas connection, because I'm imagining that they have to take that Vegas thing somewhere, sometime, and maybe now is it. But I also think it's very interesting that, a first place goes to just someone else entirely, like the rogue theory. And I interpret that as most people expecting that there's going to be a red herring, that it's not going to be someone in the main cast. Who knows, it may be someone we haven't even seen before. So it's interesting that first place, I think, goes to, it could be anyone. They're going to bring somebody out of the woodwork. We're going to focus on all of the main suspects and go over with a fine-tooth comb all of the reasons why X, Y, and Z could have done it, and then in the very end, it's going to be the red herring. I think that's a good first place possibility. Let's see. So tied for first was the Vegas connection or someone else entirely. Second place we had, or actually no, so I guess then that makes it third place for Jordan and Faith. Fourth place was Chelsea. Again, another strong contender. Fifth place, Kevin and Chloe. Kevin or Chloe. And then sixth place was Ray. But again, the real kind of shocker, the real kind of interesting piece of this poll for me, maybe the most interesting piece of it, is the fact that last place, one voter voted that it was Billy. Billy is currently the GCPD's #1 suspect, and only one person actually thought that he was the one to do it. Oh, if only we were the GCPD. Well, Chelsea first tells Ray that Adam thinks that Billy is the one who tried to shoot him, and it doesn't help that Billy has been running his mouth off as usual about Adam long before the gun was fired and long after the gun was fired. Billy has been going around talking about Adam. That's another clue here too. If Billy had actually shot Adam, I think he might have kept his mouth shut a little bit more after firing the gun, but that didn't happen. I mean, Ray basically walked in this week on Billy telling Chelsea that she should be ticked off that the shooter missed. And that was after Billy said the same thing to Adam's face. Billy was taunting Adam to his face, implying that whoever it was should be coming back any time now to finish the job. I don't think it was Billy, but apparently Chance.com is right across the street from Adam's discount kidnap warehouse. So Ray thinks it's very plausible that Billy could have just run right on over there and done it. How would he even know that Adam would be in that building at that time? Unless he was following him. Well, Ray questions Billy as a person of interest, which leads to Paul getting a search warrant, which leads to Ray finding a single blue earbud that matches an earbud found at the crime scene. An earbud? You know, when I like to sharpshoot someone from one tower to another, there's nothing I like better than listening to a good podcast while I do it. Allie's Y&R Chat is now available on iTunes. Really? You're gonna, have in some tunes while you're planning to go sharpshoot somebody? And then next week in the previews, Ray is telling Billy that the bullet they pulled out of Chance matches Billy's gun. So, all the evidence is pointing to Billy. So, Chelsea is totally framing Billy for Adam's shooting. Cool? Cool? Can we all agree? Chelsea snuck into Chance.com, stole the earbud, dumped it at the scene, probably doesn't even remember doing it because head injury. Makes sense. And then there's the issue of the bullet and the gun. I don't think that necessarily means that Chelsea pulled the trigger. I mean, anybody could have pulled the trigger on this gun. We don't even know where the gun came from. I didn't even know that Billy had a gun, let alone where it was and who had access to it. But I know that Chelsea's the one who's framing Billy for it. She could be framing him just for retaliation. Or she could totally have been the one to pull the trigger, and she's, consciously putting the heat on to Billy to take the heat off of herself. To the world, Billy is the most obvious suspect, and he needs a good criminal attorney. But he chose Amanda instead. I'm not saying Amanda's not very talented at what she does, but who in their right mind, being charged with attempted murder, would want a first-time criminal attorney? Amanda said that she studied criminal law in school, but this would still be her very first case. No thanks, Junior. I'll take the old, seasoned attorney, the one with the long gray nose hair. I'll have him to go up for me and on my behalf to go up against Michael Baldwin. Or if you're feeling fancy, what about Brittany Hodges? She's in town right now. Didn't she defend Sharon? Didn't she get Sharon a lesser charge when the ladies were charged with JT's murder? I don't know. I don't even know why Amanda would want to take this headache on in addition to all of her duties at ChanceCom. I mean, she still has a job to do there. Billy doesn't. When Billy realized that he was in hot water and admitted it to Lily and Amanda, Lily immediately suggested that Billy should step away from ChanceCom so that they can pursue their attraction to each other without anything standing in the way. I mean, so Billy doesn't attract any unwanted attention to the company. Oh, she swooned, didn't she? Oh, she swooned so hard when Billy agreed to step away from the company, but said that what he would really miss, even more than the job, was seeing her on a daily basis and being around her and wondering when the next time they might kiss again would be. She practically melted onto the floor. This is so typical of Billy. I'm not even surprised. Yeah, of course he's not going to miss the workload. And of course, he's the main suspect in a murder investigation right now. And he has to step away from the job that has given him a second life. But he's more worried about stepping away from the girl that he currently wants to sleep with. Girlfriends all around. Just girls. Just girl talk all around. Lily and Sharon had a follow-up girlfriend chat this week. Wow, maybe this is a friendship that can last. I like it. I like Lily and Sharon being friends. It's unexpected and fun. And Lily apologized to Sharon for her part in the damage that the Adam expose caused. I just think it's funny that everybody calls it the Adam expose. It's just known around town as the Adam expose. Well, that was very mature of Lily. And Sharon mostly let Lily off the hook for it because everybody kind of knows that Billy was the driving force on that one. But other girl chats, Lily had girl chats, many of them with Amanda this week. Is Amanda getting a little aggressive about playfully questioning Lily on her relationship with Billy? I mean, Amanda and Lily are friendly. I love that. But Lily is the boss. I wouldn't push my luck with her pushing for information on what's going on between her and the other boss behind closed doors. Like, especially after Amanda has had some behind closed doors moments with Billy too. I just wouldn't go there, but Amanda is. And turnaround is fair play, apparently, because Lily makes Amanda cough up a few details about her first date with Devon. It's funny because Amanda and Devon's first date definitely started out as not a date, in air quotes. Definitely not a date, in quotes. Just drinks at his place, then dinner at a fancy, hard-to-get-in restaurant. But it's definitely being acknowledged by Amanda now in retrospect as having been a date, right? I mean, I think Amanda and Devon both approached it like it was a formal thing and not a date, and then they realized that it was so much easier for them both to just order delivery and hang out on the couch and talk and accept that it was a first date. Because that's the moment that the real date began, when they just relaxed, let their hair down, and started talking. And we've had a lot of Amanda talking about herself and her experiences and her family and growing up and her connection to Hillary. And it was nice to see Devon just telling the story of Devon, just talking about himself. And also for Hillary to not necessarily be the topic of conversation. I liked that Amanda did the listening. It was Devon talking and Amanda listening, while trying not to spill that huge margarita all down the front of her white dress. I kept watching her in the white dress, seeing her sipping on the giant freaking margarita. I mean, that was an oversized margarita. There's no way that's a standard margarita size glass. It was huge. I just kept thinking, ooh, girl, don't even dribble that. Or what if a little bit of the stain comes off the glass and gets all down your white dress? White on a first date is just bold. But she did it. She said, I'm going to have a bold dinner date with this billionaire. Ugh. We were all over the map on that dinner menu, weren't we? I mean, we had margaritas, a French restaurant, and Chinese food. I love Mexican, French, Chinese cuisine. I don't know about you. What a fusion. After Amanda and Devon had their first date, Elena told Nate that she wouldn't say no to a first date with him. Wow, how gracious of you, Elena. She said, if you wanted to ask me out on a first date, I wouldn't say no. Girl, why are you punishing Nate for what you both did? Couldn't she have said, if you want to ask me out on a first date, I would like that? Or how about, I'm sorry things got weird. We're both in this together. Let's just start over. I would like to ask you out on a date. But no, what she said was backhanded. If you wanted to ask me out on a date, I wouldn't say no. What a brat. She is making Nate work extra hard just to break through what's really going on in her subconscious. I really appreciated the dream sequences that we saw on Friday. It helped inch Elena toward the realization that she didn't have sex with Nate in a bubble. She'd been thinking about him and imagining them as more than friends for a while now. Now Elena has just got to work on accepting the reality of the situation. That's what her next step has to be. It's reality. Devon is not taking her back. He's moving on with Amanda. There's no way she's winning him back until maybe after she realizes that she's pregnant. But that's not happening now. That is not what the situation is right now. But at least Elena is already prepared for becoming a new mom. She's got the new mom haircut game down. Wow, a new haircut to go along with her new baby that's on the way. Gosh, I have always been a really big fan of Elena's curly hair. I really liked the way her hair kind of bounced around as she moved her head in the scene. It seemed really cute to me. I just liked her cute curly hair. And I'm sad to see it go. But, you know, the new shortcut, it's short on the sides, but it does still have some of her cute curls on top. And so I'm all right with it. I like it. It's nice to have a change once in a while. And the new cut says, fresh, confident, I can do what I want, power hair. She went from having cute hair to having power hair. And now I would like to see her seize that power and take back control of her life. Lola is doomed. Oh, she's done for. I mean, we saw her twice this week, and both times she was just there supporting somebody else's story for now. First it was Elena, then Ray, and she has no story of her own. Lola officially has no story of her own. Sally took Lola's story. That's the truth. Sally took Lola's story. Lauren offers Summer the job of becoming the president of JCV. What an accomplishment. I am so proud of her. Sure, some people work their entire lives to get a title like that, and she's gotten a major career boost just by virtue of her last name, but I like the idea of Summer as a fresh, young, powerful executive for a fashion company. I mean, I think it suits her. In all seriousness, I think it works for Summer's character, and like she said, it's her dream job. The problem is, that also happens to be Sally Spectra's dream job. It is the job that she came to town hoping to get. So, while Summer was agonizing over whether or not to accept a position that will take her away from Jabot and take her further away from Kyle, because now she'll be down the hall instead of right next door, Sally goes to Theo and accepts his "I'll spy for you if you spy for me" offer. I thought we were going to see Sally having a run-in with Kyle this past week. I thought we had a preview of Sally having a run-in with Kyle, and I didn't see it, or maybe I missed it. I don't know. I think we're putting Sally to the test. Is she a good girl? Is she really reformed, just looking for a new start, or is she willing to get down and dirty? We're going to find out. I would like to know of the chatters, before we get too far down this road, what are your first impressions of Miss Sally Spectra? I think we need to do a first blush poll this week at yrchat.com. Do you like Sally's vibe so far? Are you excited to see what she's going to bring to the show? Or just as a first impression, are you not feeling it? Let me know. Go to yrchat.com. Give me your first impressions of our fiery new fashionista. Next week is Thanksgiving, and it looks like the meal that Theo will be serving to the Abbotts is court papers. In those previews, Jack and Kyle are poring over some court papers saying that Theo is suing for Dina's entire estate. I'm sure that Kyle will get a good "I told you so" out of that one. I'm wondering if maybe Jack will end up having a talk with Theo and convincing him to change his mind? Can that be done? Can Jack get in and do some damage control on this one? Because knowing that the actor has already left the show means that we can really only see him for another couple of weeks tops. I mean, what, 1-2 weeks tops? So there's no way that this can drag out into a court battle. I'm wondering if maybe we're going to see Theo hit rock bottom of his vindictiveness, and then maybe he'll have a Thanksgiving change of heart. I don't know. Mariah had a conversation with Theo early this week about him feeling slighted by the Abbott family, and what she said to him was, "I see you, Theo. What you're doing right now is not about money. You want your family to see you and to feel your pain. And when Mariah said that, I thought, oh, that's exactly how Adam feels too. I mean, maybe if this suing the Abbotts thing doesn't work out for Theo, maybe Theo could just plant a bomb at Jabot and blow them all to shreds. I mean, that seems to be the personality path. You're feeling slighted by your family. You want them to feel your pain, so plant a bomb and blow them all to shreds. I mean, come on, if anybody was going to plan to blow something up, then why not Theo? If the actor's being cut from the show anyway. Hell, maybe it'll turn out that Theo is the one who shot Adam. For what reason, I don't know. The Chance and Abby wedding is on, but the Chance and Adam wedding is off. Not gonna happen. No. Adam sneaks into the hospital to see Chance, and Chance is no longer welcoming Adam with open arms. In fact, Chance has a message of warning for Adam. He says, "You're putting yourself into these dangerous situations, and I'm the one that took the bullet. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. So consider us even. And by the way, if I were Chelsea, I would stay away from you too." Goo. Well, I mean, hey, I guess if you take a bullet for someone, that gives you a right to discontinue the friendship. Chance got his apologies from Adam, and he got his thank yous for Victor, so it's all right. It's his right. It's okay to just dip out of that. But they're going to be family. You're still going to have some kind of relationship with Adam. He's going to be your step-bro-in-law. Is that right? Good scene. Chance, from his hospital bed, asks Victor for his blessing to marry Abby. Not his permission, no. Just Victor's blessing to marry Abby. That's good enough here. I really like that Chance let Victor know that he didn't need his approval on this, but he wanted it. And Victor gave it, and I did get a little teary when Victor talked about knowing Chance's grandmother. I mean, the Newman Abbott Chancellor wedding that we're planning here is really significant for the families that it represents and for the legacy that it represents too. So I'm on board. I'm liking it. I liked that scene. I also liked Abby and Ashley having some mother-daughter time this week for planning the wedding. There was a point where they were going through another one of Dina's mystery boxes. I was afraid they were going to find something. I was going to lead to another sibling or another mystery or who knows what. But they were just looking for a few trinkets, a few items to incorporate into the ceremony. And I was astounded that Abby mentioned Brad's name. That really blew me back because she never mentions Brad. She was wanting to find a way to honor the people who are in her family and who were important to her, but who are no longer with her. And Brad raised Abby as his own daughter before Ashley's famous camcorder confession of Abby's true paternity, which we saw in the classics, that Abby's true paternity was Victor's stolen sperm. That was good. And then Ashley and Abby also had another good conversation later in the week at Society, where Ashley was talking about her relationship history. And Ashley acknowledged that she didn't set a very good example for Abby in the romance department. You can say that again. But I guess, thinking about Ashley's romance department, I feel like Ashley just never found her true love. I feel like Ashley's true love always ended up being someone else's true love. It never really belonged to her. And maybe, just maybe, the story will have a happier ending for Abby. Chance is on the mend, and we have a wedding to plan. I mean, we have a wedding that's 1 week away. Is it going to be next week? Ooh. Oh, that sounds really good. A wedding next week. I like it. A wedding maybe even with some surprise guests. Who knows? In the hospital, Abby arranges a video call for Chance to share the good news of their engagement and his recovery. Jill and Nina on the split screen for a hospital video chat. Okay, I know it was a little anticlimactic. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that Nina was coming back, I was envisioning her being the proud mama by Chance's side at the wedding. I envisioned a little friendly dinner with Paul and Christine on the side. I had high hopes, but I can forgive the fact that it just turned out to be a video call because COVID. I mean, a lot of people still don't want to travel. Trisha Cast lives in Tennessee and Jess Walton lives in Oregon. So it may not have been, or they may not have felt compelled or safe to travel just to do a couple of scenes. So I think this was an all right alternative given the circumstances. My question is, did the two ladies somehow, through the magic of technology, film their scenes simultaneously? Because it was presented as a conversation that Jill was hearing Nina was hearing Jill. They were both talking and hearing Chance. Or I'm wondering if somehow it was actually filmed simultaneously, or if it was all filmed completely separately and then just later in editing made to look like it was all cohesive. I don't know. It probably was filmed separately, right? I wish I could have got a closer look. It seemed like the timing was off. It seemed like the dialogue was a little bit slow, and that made me think it probably wasn't all filmed together. But maybe your energy isn't as high when you're just sitting at home on a video call as it would be if you were acting in person. But either way, I think Jill looks as good as ever. She had the second call with Chance and Abby after he was released from the hospital because they wanted to ask permission to hold the wedding at the Grand Chancellor Estate. Chance Chancellor needs to get married at the Chance Estate. Chance has to get married at the Chance Mansion. It was meant to be. And Jill agreed, of course. Jill said she was going to have the place spiffed up for a fast wedding, and somehow that makes me feel like she's not going to be there. The fact that she's planning it from the video call makes me think that's the last we're going to see of her. But what about Nina? Is there any chance that the video call was just a precursor to an in-person surprise? That would be a pretty good surprise. Because seeing Nina's face made me feel very warm, very fuzzy, very comfortable. Her hair was long and dark and pretty, and especially after seeing her in the classics, I just appreciated getting the essence of Nina again, getting that essence of the past, that connection to the past. So I'm wondering if there is any way that we're gonna get a surprise and maybe she will show up. It just is not going to seem right if the excuse Y&R gives us is that both Jill and Nina's planes happen to be grounded on Chance's wedding day. Well, we are all allowed to have a cranky day sometimes. That was our quote from last week. It was Sharon. That came from Sharon. Faith had her little hangover and she was at the coffee house being a bit of a brat. And everyone's trying to be very sensitive around Faith right now. And so Sharon gave her some allowance and said, all right, we're all allowed to have a cranky day sometimes. It's just you and I knew that Faith was hungover. This week's winners are Sandra, Henry, Julie, Victoria, Daisy, Nancy, Jamie, Robbie, Jamie G, and T. Nicole. Good job. Hey, I've got a good quote this week for Thanksgiving. It seems appropriate. Here it is. I'm a glutton for information. Personally, I'm more of a glutton for pie. But someone said, I'm a glutton for information. Do you know who it was? If you do, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. How about this? T. Nicole says, does anyone else think Abby and Chance will struggle to have a baby? I wonder if it will be difficult for them to get pregnant because they talk nonstop about having a baby right away. They haven't had any major conflict, so this could be theirs. This could always be a great way to bring awareness and discussion about infertility between couples. Yeah! And Diane K says, with all of Abby and Chance's talk of having babies, I am almost 100% sure that Chance is now impotent. Abby can never have her dreams come true. Oh, you guys are right. It's so true. That thought did occur to me when Chance got shot. I immediately thought, was the bullet anywhere near his crotch? Please tell me they didn't shoot his crotch off because he has plans for the crotch. Big plans for the crotch. But that thought kind of left my mind a little bit, and now you're bringing it back up. It's true. It's true that this would be a challenge for Abby and Chance. It's also true that this couple hasn't had many challenges, so it might be something that could create some story for them after the wedding. It is also true that I think Melissa Ordway had some trouble, the actress who plays Abby, I believe she had some trouble conceiving, and then she adopted a child and then went on to actually get pregnant and have her own biological child. So sometimes you think things are one thing and then they go on to be another. So this could be a very interesting story, and what you're picking up on there is key because there certainly might be some information and some realness that Melissa Ordway could bring to that situation if that's what the role calls for. Oh, Ellen says, I just read that we will see a temporary recast of Chance while Danny Boaz is quarantined due to a positive COVID diagnosis. He is apparently back on the set and filming new episodes, so he's already cleared the virus. I guess Y&R has several weeks of episodes in the can at least. Is in the can still a thing in this digital age? I seem to be showing my advanced age on a weekly basis. No, I still say in the can. 100% I still say in the can. I don't even know where that comes from, in the can. It's like from the film can, right? Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. But, okay, so Danny got COVID, but it sounds like he's recovered. It seems like some people get it and it just really destroys them, and then other people get it and don't even know it. So I don't know what the severity of his response to getting it was, but I'm glad to hear that he's better and he's back on set. And I do wonder where we're gonna see the stand-in. Melissa Ordway's real-life husband doing a stand-in gig. Hopefully it's not for the wedding part. I would like to see real Abby and real Chance doing the wedding, even though there wouldn't be able to be a kiss. But who knows? Maybe they used Melissa Ordway's real-life husband for that too. Maybe he was already playing a part doing the stand-in, and then when the COVID diagnosis came in, they just kind of rolled with it. I mean, I think Y&R is doing a pretty good job of rolling with it these days. Sandra says, my prince got COVID. Oh no. Chance. I could say his name all day long. Wait, I do. That's my dog's name. I don't know how they'll do a stand-in for Chance, but I was hoping he and Abby would be the first couple to tie the knot, and before the end of the year, like Christmas Eve. Oh, your dog's name is Chance. That's funny. Did we know that? I feel like maybe I knew that, but that is really funny and really cool. Did you name him after Chance, or did your name come first? Which came first? The Chance Chancellor or the pup? But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's coming next week. I don't think we're going to have to wait till Christmas Eve. Maybe we're going to get a Thanksgiving wedding for Abby and Chance, and then maybe we will get the New Year's Eve wedding for Sharon and Ray. Although I don't know. I'm worried about these Rosaleses. But let's switch on over to talking about, oh goodness, what Consuela is saying here. Consuela says, the Elena and Nate storyline, it's all over the place. First of all, why does Nate act like Devon owes him something? He said something to Elena about if he decides to forgive Devon. At this point, I think Nate is delusional, and Elena is admitting having feelings for Nate. These two are getting on my nerves. It makes no logical sense to me. Well, I guess I just don't think it's terribly off base for Nate to want Devon to take some responsibility for his action. I mean, I've seen Nate and Elena both taking responsibility for the things that they've done. I mean, I don't think it's totally I don't think it's totally whack to have Nate at least hold Devon to a little bit of responsibility for, you know, the violence of his actions. But Diana says, I'm totally on Devon's side too. I thought the scene at Society was very realistic, as Devon is still hurt and angry with Nate, as he should be. If he loved Elena like he did, he would still be bitter about what happened. Nate, his own cousin, betrayed Devon in the worst possible way, and Devon loved and trusted him also. Devon made a good point when he said that Nate attacked him first. Nate didn't physically attack Devon, he emotionally attacked Devon with his betrayal. I feel like what Nate did to Devon is worse than Devon physically punching him. Nate took a punch to the face, but Devon took a punch to his gut and his heart. Ooh, Diana. The other thing that I think really that came out of that conversation between Devon and Nate that was really strong on Devon's part was that Devon said, okay, well, you paid a price. I'm still paying the price over here. I thought that Elena was the rest of my life, and now I don't get to have that. You're probably going to get to use your hand again, but I'll never have the life that I thought that I was going to. So I thought that was also a really good, strong point. I mean, Nate didn't physically attack Devon, but he emotionally attacked Devon. I guess the thing is, I don't feel like it was premeditated. I feel like Devon had more time to think about what he was doing than Nate and Elena did. And also there was another person and another factor in that. The Nate and Elena thing happened so dang quick. It was like a snap of a finger. I mean, but then again, I mean, they had a chance to stop. I mean, I don't know how long it all lasted. I'm imagining hours. So you're probably right that either Nate or Elena had hours to stop and chose not to. Oh, I don't know. I guess I connected in with Nate a little more than most people did. I do get the feeling that a lot of people are like, forget it, Nate, forget it. Definitely Team Devon, and I'm Team Devon too. I understand and know the betrayal. What works in Nate and Elena's favor for me is the fact that they immediately took responsibility for it. That's what draws me into a character and makes me forgive the things that they do, because soap characters do lots of bad things, but when they realize it and feel remorse for it, that helps me reconnect with them and helps me forgive them. Victoria says, I hope Nate indulges his anger toward Devon. Y&R could use more conflict to interest the viewers. Nate, let Devon have it, then sue him for the loss of your hand. Also, Nate further angered Devon by telling him how you feel about Elena and how you think she feels about you. It's time to speak up and not stuff down your feelings. That's true, Victoria. It was clear that during that conversation, Nate had an opportunity to shove it in Devon's face a little bit, that it was more than just sex. And he chose not to. I mean, Nate did pull back. It's clear he still loves Devon, and he didn't want to hurt Devon by rubbing it in his face. So no matter how hurt Nate is emotionally and over his hand physically, he had an opportunity to lash back at Devon and chose not to. Although Superplex says, careful, Devon. Even a walking, wounded Dr. Nate is dangerous. He knows martial arts. I love that pull, Superplex. Yes, when Nate was first cast as an adult, I can't remember the actor's name, darn, I can't remember it, but he was given Victoria martial arts lessons. Remember that? He was like doing upside down handstands. Clearly that's something that the actor knew how to do and was bringing to the role. I love stuff like that. It's like when you get a musician, Tessa, JT, I don't know, he's in my brain right now. But, you get someone who's talented, and the Y&R incorporates that into their role. Drusilla as a dancer. So I think that is a very cool something to do. Like, to identify that you have a unique actor and to be open and receptive to the other talents that person might have and to work that into the role. It only makes the show better. It only makes the character better. It only makes them more full. The martial arts thing totally got dropped from the character when the recast happened. But yeah, it's a funny point of note, and I like it. Well, how about this from Ellen, who says, since when is Summer a business phenom and remotely qualified to be the president of anything? She has no formal education, some limited marketing experience with Kyle as her partner, and the emotional maturity of a 14-year-old. I am the first person to advocate for the advancement of women to leadership positions, but they should be qualified, not just named Newman. Meanwhile, Phyllis, with decades of business experience, is told that she's not qualified to order business cards. No wonder Phyllis lost it with Nick, even though she was definitely wrong about the faith situation. Oh, Ellen, dang, is that a good point? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had a feeling that Summer she got the job because of nepotism. I definitely felt that wave, like, what, Summer? She's kind of young and kind of inexperienced. But then it left me because I just accepted it in terms of the show. But it is funny because, let's see, did Victoria have any training? Well, Victoria worked her way up from the mailroom. That's something in favor of her. But yeah, I agree with you. I guess I was more taken aback by, I like the idea of seeing, the woman, and I like the idea of having a fresh young female leader in this fashion world. But gosh darn, that is such a good point. She's totally underqualified. And then just, to connect that into Phyllis, that is just so smart. Yeah. We'll see though. Summer's going to have her work cut out for her. It's yet another, it's meant to drive a plot. It's meant to just be something that Summer and Sally fight over. And I don't know. I guess we'll see how entertaining it becomes. But you know what, too? Does Kyle have an education? I don't know. I mean, not that that necessarily qualifies you for anything. I mean, shoot, some of the richest people in the world have no formal education. But yeah, did Kyle go to school? I'm just curious. I know Adam's a Harvard man. That seems to be the only school that is ever mentioned. No, Neil went to Stanford, right? Right? Neil went to Stanford and Adam went to Harvard, and that's all I can think of. Everybody else went to Genoa City University. Nick went to GCU, didn't he? Didn't Nick and Sharon go to GCU? We should get some comments this week. Let us know if anybody can remember the alma maters of our Genoa City residents. Where will Faith go to college, or is Faith going to really blow her SATs and ACTs because she's just out far too late drinking and shooting people? Daisy says, Faith is really out of control. She needs all of her family to know what she's been doing. I'd like to see Nikki speak to Faith about drinking. And Nikki, even Mariah, could also help Faith deal with the hurtful gossip about her on the internet. Also, the first thing Nick should have done was take away Faith's phone and give her a child guard flip phone with only her parents' number on it. But it doesn't look like Faith will be turning her life around anytime soon. She's still trying to keep it all a secret. But from the previews, it looks like her mother is told, and I hope that doesn't compel Faith to run away, though. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Child guard flip phone. How old is Faith? Is she, 14, 15? Because Nick made a comment of, it's not just that you're underage, it's that you're extremely underage. I mean, I'm placing her 14 or 15. I should have looked that up because I don't even know how old the actress is. But, I mean, see, that's the thing. The heart, Iron Fist, that I lean on that too. I think I tend to lean more toward, let's tough love. But at the same time, if you take away her phone and put her in her room and everything, then she might rebel even more. It might backfire on you. So that's why I'm saying I don't know what the right thing to do is here with a troubled teen. Maybe you got to pluck a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B. But I really do appreciate your point that the family maybe needs to get involved in this. If Faith is so influenced by her peers and her classmates, then she should be more influenced by her family members, that they should be involved, that they should step in, that Nikki could have certainly a say in this. Absolutely. She's a perfect person to serve as a role model and a cautionary tale for Faith when it comes to the dangers of drinking. And I really like your point too about Mariah chiming in about people saying hurtful things on the internet. I mean, from Mariah's days at GC Buzz in the Hillary Hour, then Mariah has certainly experienced that. And I mean, some of it at the hands of Hillary. So I think that's a really good point too, that there are so many people in Faith's life who are well positioned to have some influence over her if they're told. And also, first and foremost, Sharon. Sherrod says, Nick, the hypocrite, he blamed Phyllis for not telling him right away, and I don't believe he's told Sharon, Faith's mother. So sick of these people and their double standards. No kidding, double standards. But it does look like from the previews for next week that Nick did tell Sharon. That's the thing, though, is how much time went by on Nick telling Sharon. Because everybody's all mad at Phyllis for not telling Nick immediately, but how much time went by? Was it one night? Was it 1 week? I don't know. And likewise, then Nick turns around and then doesn't tell Sharon the minute he learns about it. How much time's gone on there? 1 day, 1 night, 1 week? I don't know. That would be good to know. But you're absolutely right that it's a double standard. He's mad at Phyllis for not telling him immediately, and then he turns around and doesn't tell Sharon immediately. I think Nick just let his hot head get ahead of him and got mad at Phyllis. And I'm glad that they reconciled and that it wasn't played for a breakup. But Sharon has a definite right to be upset more than anybody. Like, what? Faith's stepmom knew about this before me? Somebody should have told me. I am not a delicate flower. I am here. I am feeling good. I am serving up some meals to the homeless next week. Take a picture for the GC Chronicle. Take a picture for the paper. Adam can clip it and keep it in his scrapbook while he's in the mental institution. Diana says, I don't know what the other chatters think, but I can't help feeling like Faith is lying about drinking alcohol. I thought for sure when Phyllis guessed that Faith had been drinking, that Faith decided to go along with it because she knew that she had done much more than try alcohol. If you recall, we never actually saw what Jordan took out of her bag. Maybe there was a reason for that. I think it'll come out that Faith is experimenting with drugs. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right, Diana. It wasn't alcohol. The thing is, it could have either been... The mystery of what was in Jordan's bag is significant. Because on the surface, yeah, it could have been alcohol, but it was left ambiguous for a reason. So you're right. It either could have been drugs or it could have been a gun. And now that takes us to the hot topic of who fired that gun. And most importantly, Gary says, how long will it take for the intended shooter of Adam Wilson to be revealed? That is the question. And how long are we going to be on this journey? Because as I said last week, I think it's just going to be each week we're going to move through a different suspect and it's going to point us one way until finally we get to where we are going. And the majority of chatters are probably correct. It will be someone who is not even on the scene. It'll be some red herring, something out of left field, somebody we never saw or somebody we barely saw. But how long will it be? I don't know. I mean, they could stretch this out till next year. Gary also says, the modern irony of whodunit is a tempest in a teapot, as everybody with the gun pointed at them is perfectly fine. Seems only Henry and I recognize that it was Alyssa off the canvas and thus will not be missed when she goes off to jail. The big claw hand of the sniper looked like a dude, but that doesn't mean anything. Actually, my pancake mindset knows that it won't be Alyssa, but I think it's a nice thought-out theory. Yeah, dang it, I forgot to list Alyssa in the poll. I think that's absolutely possible. I do think, I mean, anything's possible, but I do think it is possible that Alyssa is the shooter. But the other point I wanted to bring up, because I've seen this a couple of times, couple people said that they thought the hand that was holding the gun looked like a guy's hand. I thought it looked like a girl's hand. And that's so funny to me because in my mind I was thinking that looks like a female hand, that looks like a female hand. And then I saw comment after comment of people saying they thought it looked male. Isn't that an interesting example of just how perception is everything in every way, really? So, I mean, what that tells us is that just forget it. Whether you think the hand looked male or female, just forget it. It plays no role. But Henry does say, I think that Adam's shooter was his childhood friend from Kansas. Can't think of her name. It was Alyssa. But she would be someone who could easily be eliminated from the cast because any attempted murder suspect would be off to prison, and I don't see any of the original cast members, Billy, Chelsea, etc., being let go at this juncture. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, just that it's got to be some kind of, they're just going to pin it on somebody and send them off. That does tend to be the case. It is sort of like this, when this writing team took over, when Josh Griffith took over, like one of the first things he did was have someone shoot Adam. Turned out to be Chloe. We're all wondering who's it going to be, who's it going to be. And then 2 years inch down the road, and he's got the same idea. He's only got one idea, and it's Adam, and just like shooting him and sending him to a mental institution. I don't know. Hey, Adam, any number of abuses. This is what he does. But I thinking about it this week too, I thought, you couldn't come up with anything better than another Who Shot at Adam storyline. That's the thing that makes me think maybe there is going to be a twist that the shooter was actually aiming at Chance and not Adam, because it is a little like, dang, like twice in 2 years someone points a gun at Adam? That seems a little meh. Diana has a theory about somebody not peripheral to the cast who could have done it, though. Diana says, Nikki! Nikki has never really accepted Adam into the family, and we all know she resents that Adam was ever born. I am sure that Adam has always just been a constant reminder of the love that Victor and Hope once shared, and deep down this must eat away at Nikki. Most recently, Victor pointed out that Nikki doesn't seem to want Victor to treat Adam the same way as he does his other children, and this comment could have been foreshadowing of what's happened, and it's a reminder to the audience of Nikki's feelings toward Adam. Also, Nikki believes that Adam tried to kill her husband when he tampered with his medication. This would definitely give Nikki motive to want him out of her life. Nikki could have hired somebody to do her dirty work, and she has the money to do so. Well, let's face it, killing people is not new to Nikki. Yeah, the only thing is that, yeah, it's main cast. But, this is exactly what they were kind of going for when somebody ran over Delia. Remember, Nikki was also driving on the road that night when Delia got hit by the car. I can't see him making Nikki do it, though. But who knows? Who knows? She could have hired somebody. Victoria says, I think it was the henchman hired by Adam. Adam wants to get revenge on Victor and Billy. He sets the bomb at Newman and at the same time hires someone to shoot him, not fatally, and frame Billy. Adam might not have planned to be shot at the warehouse where Chelsea was being held, but he's just a phone call away from switching locations. He planned on setting off the device and then having the shooter hit him. The perfect plan for our damaged Adam. I think he and Chelsea will continue to frame Billy and ask for visitation and or custody of Johnny. Ooh, you think this was Adam framing Billy all along? That would be good. That'd be good. You're right. We've been waiting for Adam to have some kind of retaliation on Billy and wondering why exactly he hasn't done that. This would be one heck of a retaliation, only Adam would have to take a bullet to do it. That's a little rough, but it's totally possible. Then there would really be no, there'd be no, Adam would still be on the hook then for what happened to Chance. That would be sticky bad. That'd be bad for Adam. But it's a really good idea. I mean, even if it is just, we still have mystery person who shot Adam, and Adam and Chelsea are working together to frame Billy in the aftermath, that's still good. Somebody's framing Billy. The question is, who? Superplex thinks Ray was the shooter. He says that the shooter wore a black jacket, and Ray always wears a black leather jacket. Plus, the character of Ray is definitely getting the boot. This would be an excellent way of achieving that goal. Plus, nobody would have predicted it. I think it's a possibility, too. Not gonna lie, I really strongly think it's a possibility that they're gonna pin this on Ray in the end and then get rid of the actor. Ooh, we'll see. Judy says, I understand that Y&R, like all soaps, is a work of overwrought fiction, but I have to say that the 11:20 episode truly strained credulity. If your father ambushes you with an order of commitment, Call an attorney, because you can most certainly contest the validity of the judicial order by pointing out that the supporting mental health counselor for your father's claim has been married to your brother, then to you, and then to your father, and is the mother of 2 of your very wealthy father's grandchildren, along with the fact that the claim of the subject being in imminent danger of harming himself or others is based on hearsay rather than any objective evidence to the fact. Because of the entertainment value, I'm perfectly willing to suspend my disbelief when I'm following a soap, but this one was too much. Judy! I think we might have a real life attorney on our hands, not just the I watch soaps and that makes me an attorney. Dang, that was good. I can't top it. I'll let it be. Ellen says, so Gum-Chewing Billy takes a few naps in a boathouse and goes to a few outpatient sessions and never faces consequences for an actual attempted murder. Chloe shoots Adam point blank in the chest, evades capture with Kevin, and gets pardoned by the crooked DA, Michael Baldwin. Let's see if Adam's sins are all washed away by a cleansing visit to a very comfortable facility. That's how it works, right? Adam will be welcomed into the warm embrace of the family in Genoa City because he had issues, right? No hard feelings after he completes a little time working on his mental health. Okie dokie, I'm ready to see it. Looking forward to the clean, shiny, fresh start Adam will be given, just like everyone else. I wonder if that is where it's headed, though. I do wonder if this is Y&R's way of doing that. Is it part of the redemption? Because it sure did make me feel bad for him. I mean, watching everything that happened just absolutely ripped my heart out. And, like, there is nothing to get me on board with somebody faster than to put them in a situation like that, like being pulled away out of their own will and taken and held. I mean, that's just seeing somebody hurt or down or trapped or something like that automatically makes me want to help them. And I kind of wonder if there's any chance that we're going to get that on the other side. Is there any chance we're going to get a shiny, clean, fresh start for Adam? I don't know. Sherrod says, I know it was supposed to be dramatic and painful when the police officer goes to restrain Adam, but because we could only hear it and not see it, I found the humor in it. Sorry, not sorry. I noticed that too. Mark Grossman's off in the background going, hey, get your hands off of me. I mean it. But I was not laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, not this. And then the end of Friday's show where Adam's just like got his hands up on the glass of the door. I'm dying. I'm thinking, no, somebody help him. Help him. Well, Victoria says, I may be in the minority, but I appreciated what Chloe had to say to Chelsea. Chloe's dark past gives her extra insight into Adam's thinking. She has experience with going down a path of dangerous thoughts. I get a sense that Chloe is a true friend. She only wants what's best for Chelsea, and I'm glad Chelsea decided to go back to Adam. I think this helps to move the story along, and Chelsea is a character who helps the viewer see more deeply into Adam's motivations. Yes. Oh, that's so good. That's so good, Victoria, because it really lends credence to Chloe's point of view. And it also, this is very insightful that Chelsea is the character that helps us have the insight into Adam. Now, there was a point during that argument between Chloe and Chelsea where Chloe was saying to Chelsea, you don't see the real Adam. Well, arguably, Chelsea is the one who has seen the most real Adam. And she's the one who turns around and presents that to the audience, if it were done better. I mean, I don't think it necessarily is, but if it were done better, that would be her role. Well, keeping it real, Laura says, on this show, people do one thing, then justify it. The next scene, they've changed their mind, then justify that. If we all change our minds like we change our clothes, we'll never suffer internal conflict. It's a Y&R life hack. Thank you, Adam and Chelsea. Well, there you go. There's the moral of the story. Good call. The key to living a happy, carefree life is to never commit to anything and treat every week like it's sweeps week. Life solved. Well, okay, my Y&R friends. That solves the end of another Y&R Chat edition. I hope you enjoyed it. And, hey, more importantly, I hope you guys have a really nice Thanksgiving. I have no idea how many episodes we're going to get next week. Probably 5. A lot of the times lately, it seems like we get full times. There ain't going to be no Macy's parade this week. So I'm feeling like we're going to get full Y&R next week, plus Thanksgiving food. To tell you the truth, the pie is the only thing I care about. The apple pie that I'm going to make is the thing I'm really looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to it so much that I'm currently considering making 2. One for Thanksgiving and one for the Thanksgiving leftovers. That's not a bad idea, right? Okay, everybody, go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about the show or to say happy Thanksgiving, to share what you guys are doing this year in this weird circumstance. Or if you're just feeling lonely, you can also go there and we'll tell you hi. We'll give you a Thanksgiving internet hug. How about that? Okay, everybody, I love you. Have a very happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next Sunday.